Hi everyone, Robin here from Gardening with Mama Bird. Today I'm over at my mom's house in the backyard where she has a ton of blooms, and I thought I'd give you a tour and show you all the beautiful blossoms in her backyard. So I'll start over here on the east side of the yard. Her backyard faces north, so it gets a little bit of shade. And one of mom's favorite things to collect in the garden are geraniums and pelargoniums and some scented geraniums. This one is a beautiful pink and it's kind of a double ruffle flower. It's got lots of blooms on it and very bright in the garden. Back over here is a pelargonium, which I believe is a Martha Washington. The bright white flowers pop in that shaded area beneath the Buford holly. And she has another geranium that's a pink tone. This one she's had for quite some time, and it looks like a little rose. It's a very pale pink, super pretty, and it was a clipping that she took years ago when we were on vacation in San Luis Obispo. It hasn't grown much, but the flowers are so pretty. Next to it, it doesn't have a ton of blooms on it right now, but this is a scented geranium, and when you rub the leaves on it, you can smell the lemon on it, and it just has a really beautiful smell, a fragrance to it. It's supposed to keep the mosquitoes away, and these are the flowers that it gets, a pale pink with kind of a magenta center on it. Then she has this geranium, which the flowers have, I guess you might say, a coral tone to them. It's a really pretty, dainty little flower with some deeper tones in the throat of the petals. And above that is another one that has pinks, magentas, whites. It's a really pretty color. And some of these, they may be called geraniums, some may be pelargoniums. Most of the pelargoniums have a larger leaf on them, leaf structure. So if there's anybody watching and their favorites are pelargoniums and geraniums, and you're well versed in naming them, drop a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Our cosmos is coming in really well. Pretty soon we'll have lots of flowers blossoming in that little area. The cosmos is very fern-like and lacy, so it adds a nice texture in this area. Over here we have some daisies, and they are about done blooming and need to be pruned up. But behind that, this geranium is one of my mom and my dad's favorites. The color tones are really a true coral with a deep colored throat on them, and it's just gorgeous. Back behind that, she actually purchased an orange geranium. I'll have to go back behind there and show you the color of that. Super, super pretty and unique. You don't see this too often, or we don't see it too often in our nurseries. Okay, I came around to the back side so you could see the beautiful color of this geranium that was added to the pot because the color tones go so well with the little geraniums in there. She also has several rose trees that she added into the garden last year. This one is a yellow one, and the roses, the blooms are coming out on that are just beautiful and adds a great pop of color back in here. Look at the buds on these. We're going to have lots of them popping out here soon. And then right next to the little yellow rose tree is one of all of the family's favorite, is the arbor with the pink roses on it. So everybody enjoys when this is full of blossoms, all the tiny pink little roses. Here, I'll try to get up close. A little bit hard with the sun right now, but the little roses on it are just adorable. And we all enjoy coming out here when this arbor is in bloom. She's flanked the opening to the arbor with two dwarf Alberta spruce, and she started to build a little path below with some stones that I have taken out of my garden beds. And she's going to be creating a little path walkway through this little area that again has some more geraniums. And back in here, there's even more geraniums. And another little rose. It gets tiny little rose buds on it that's a pink tone. It's more of a pale pink, super pretty little roses. So as you can see, Mom has little favorites, which seems to be in her garden, roses and geraniums. But back here, there is a pocket full of hot lip salvia. And I think this is the most blooms I've ever seen on these. And the hummingbirds just love these. So it's a little hummingbird magnet out in the garden to have some hot lip salvia. We have some more over in this area, which has grown in really well and filled in an area where the soil has been a little bit more difficult to work with. If we turn over here, we have pelargonium, a little bit lighter pink than some of what she has on the other end of the yard, but super pretty. Here, oh, look who's wanting to visit the hot lip salvia. If I turn here, she has another rose tree. This is a really dark purple rose, but very pretty. A very deep colored rose. Down below that, which is one of my favorite color tones, and I'm not a big person on yellow, but I just love the little shape and all the petals in these roses. There's just a lot of petal count on these, and I love the way they form. Next to it, we have again another little hot lip salvia for the hummers. And here is a peach colored rose, and it has kind of a coral margin on it. Very, very pretty. And above that, I'll show you from another angle, is the arbor with all the flowers on it. I have that little hummer trying to encourage me to get out of his way so he can get to the hot lip salvia. So I'll take a turn around here and we'll move on to another part of the garden. So we have a lot going on. Mom's garden is like wandering around and finding fun little secret treasures all over. There is not an area in the garden that you don't find something fun and enjoyable to look at. And I don't want to miss this back here. Mom has always had great luck with aeoniums, and she keeps them tucked back here in our zone 9B that gets very hot and warm, so they get some afternoon shade and they don't get too much sun. But she's just always had such great luck with those, and they look so pretty in the garden. And I think one fun thing about those, she keeps them in pots. So if she needs some height or a little area to have something that is taller behind something, it adds some interest in the garden. So I think that's a fun idea. That way you have the ability to move them around in the garden as you see fit, or what you like the best at any given time. Back in this area, she has her trough, and then she's got a Japanese maple growing in here that we're probably going to relocate into another area in the garden, but she's got it potted up. And then over along this area is the majority of her succulent type plants. She has a couple jade plants. This jade plant back here is just your basic jade. Then if you turn over this way, she has a ruffle jade, and it's a large plant in there. So those always stay in this area so they don't get too much sun in the afternoon and get stressed out or burnt from the sun and the heat in our area. And more pelargoniums. And we have another scented geranium here that has a lemon type smell to it, but it only has one little blossom on it at the time, or two little blossoms. So it's, I think, one of the only ones in the garden that's not full of blooms right now. And back in there, she has some more pink tones that look really pretty in that blue pot. And then we have a geranium here that's a super bright orange color. Speaking of aeoniums, I just thought of something that she has tucked back in a little shaded area beneath the podocarpus trees. I think she has a container of them that are growing very nicely that you can see. Kind of another little hidden treasure in the garden. Look how big those are. I'm just so jealous that she can grow these so well and they look so pretty. Let me see if I can get back there and show you another angle of them. So back here is like the little hidden treasure of them in this metal container. Aren't they just pretty? Then over in this bed, she's created kind of a little succulent bed, and she has some tucked in here and there. This little batch of them have grown in very well. And this I showed, I think, in another video that it had blooms on it, but it keeps growing and growing, and it has these pretty little pale purple stems on them. And eventually it will get some little dainty purple flowers. Some more succulents for all the succulent fans. Let me get over here and show you this one. I just love all the deep color tones on that. And many of them I don't know the names of. We just enjoy the different succulents, find things that we like, and plant them in the garden. And if they do well, they stay. If they don't do well, we'll trade them out. But it's a fun space to be able to play with some different succulent types in a little small area, as you can see. And this one is doing much nicer than mine are. I think it's a variety of a ruby slipper. Very, very pretty. Well, that does it for the backyard tour at my mom's with her garden full of pelargoniums, geraniums, and roses for this spring of 2024. I hope you enjoyed the tour, and post me some comments if you know some names of things that I was not able to identify. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Enjoy your garden. Have a great day.